All right. Welcome, everybody, especially those that are just coming over from Hamilton's show. Thank you. First of all, welcome, and thank you all for coming over here and checking us out. In case this is your first time here, we've been here all year long. We're here every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Talking CNC stuff and doing some demonstrations and sometimes special guests, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, welcome one and all. Glad to have you here. And I went ahead and pulled my crew in here. Ryan, why don't you start us off and we'll go around the horn here, y'all, and introduce yourselves and say whatever you want. If you want to plug something or whatever.
Hey, I'm Ryan. Our Ballard Designs is my YouTube, and having a good night. Just finished watching him and the other guys, and that was a good time. Good job.
It was.
All right, Paul.
I'm Paul Corliss. You can see me on Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, and I'm usually here on Saturday nights. Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, glad you're here. Rob, how about you?
Hey, I'm Rob. I make drums on a CNC machine, which for some reason not many people know about. Not people are interested in making drums, but I love it. It's, my hobby passion, and I got a YouTube channel, but I broke 1,000 this week. Woo-hoo! So awesome. I'm glad about that. Thank Congrats. You. A lot of this crew on Dave's group are the ones who did it, but I appreciate that. Now I need to triple my viewership, and I can get monetized.
All right.
You and me both, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
All right, I'm Sean Dyke, or known as Klondike. more of a hobbyist with the CNC. But I love this the routers and the printers and the lasers. Anything CNC is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for having me.
All right. Well, welcome. Let me. This is. I'm kind of at a loss for words because I know this is going to be a tough act to follow. It's such an amazing live stream. I think there was like over 1,200 people at one point, and some great giveaways, some great sponsors there. Just so much fun to watch, man. Just so much fun. Mm-hmm. I know there's going to be somebody pretty happy when they get that Onefinity machine. So that was pretty cool. But before
JR's must have gotten a bonus at work or something.
Yeah.
Is he what is he at it again? Look at that.
At it again.
Man, I would have thought you were out of money by the time you got here. Thank you, JR. You're just amazing. He's hardly misses a Saturday night and usually doesn't miss one with a super chat of some kind either. So really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. I want to mention, we don't give away a CNC here every Saturday night, but by golly, we do give away some pretty good router bits. And that's from my buddy Cody, who I think is out there in the chat somewhere. He sent me a new video today. We're going to be giving away the 1/4-inch downtown gene bit. You can look for that, and the hashtag that we'll be using. Let me get it up here. Will be hashtag downtown. So if you want to go ahead and put that in, and I tell you what, I'm running behind because I normally have this set up ahead of time, and I'm going to set it up right now. Hamilton's show got me all behind. I couldn't tear myself away from watching his show. So let me get this in here real quick.
There's been a couple of questions going through, and Rob Schuster's channel name is Rob
Schuster.
Yeah, looks like you just got a new subscriber too, Rob.
Yeah, I just typed in the name, and then suddenly we put up the hashtag downtown, so no one saw my response. So
Okay.
I'll do that too. Another bit.
As I mentioned, we give away the Jenny bits, and that's my good friend Cody Elkins from Cadence Manufacturing and Design.
Yes.
He sponsors this every single week, folks. Every single week. So thank you, Cody. And tonight we'll did we have any questions over there already? Did you say?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
I'm watching.
Yeah, we'll since we got so many new people here, just to let folks know that we pretty much always have a Q&A thing. So if you want to put a question in the chat, if you would try to do it like this, put QQQ in front of it or something that makes it easier to spot, especially if the chat gets rolling by quick. And Ryan is my question spotter. He we'll try to flag those. But one of the things we're going to do tonight, we had a question, I guess it was last week, and somebody was wanting me to demonstrate how to do the offsets, and the question got asked kind of late last week. So I just thought, well, we'd do that today and go through how to set them up. Now I'll be using Mach 3, so I don't know how many folks use Mach 3, but you can, the concept is pretty much the same no matter what kind of software, controller you're using. So we'll be doing that here in just a minute. So, and we got a ton of folks in here tonight. I really appreciate y'all coming over from Hamilton's thing, and a big shout out to him for giving me the shout out over there in his show. Let's see. Got a few things tagged over here. Fact of the matter is, we all grind it out. Look forward to these get-togethers. Appreciate what it takes to get it done. Y'all have a lot of positive influence in this space. Keep it up. Thank you, JR. Really appreciate that. Tim wants to know what brand is my CNC. It is an Avid CNC. It's the Pro 4848. Let's see here. Big pop.
I have a Gatton CNC.
Yeah, well, we got a few 150s. Paul's got a 150. Yeah. Rob's got kind of a Frankenstein.
Yeah. You originally designed it, and then I kept tweaking it. But plus, I have two CNCs, I guess. Yeah, I have the rotary and a regular. So.
Okay, I guess this is a comment here. It says, just got a CNC up and running today. Working on files now. We'll do my first project in the morning. Okay, and hopefully by the time you leave here tonight, you'll know what an offset is and how it works.
Welcome to the madness of CNC stuff. It's a big rabbit hole.
Yeah. Jason Stark says, does know the feed and speed for the X-Carve? I wouldn't even hazard a guess at an X-Carve. You might go to, if they have a Facebook group or a forum, ask there for what feed and speeds is kind of a loaded question anyway, because it depends on your machine. It depends on your bit. It depends on your material. It depends on a whole bunch of things. So,
a good place to start with the X-Carve is with their easel stuff. Look and see what they suggest for it to be, and then ramp up from there. what they put on easel is extremely conservative, and you can go a lot faster than that and a lot deeper than what they say. But it's a good place to see where it starts at, and you can kind of go up from there and figure out what your machine can handle.
That's it. Everybody would love to have a magic bullet that tells you the answer, but
Yeah.
it's experience, trial and error, and yeah, start slow and keep working up till you say, oh, that's too fast, and back it off a little bit. And it just takes time to figure each machine out. Every wood type. It's just,
Yeah, it's always best to start out very conservative with your feed rate, because you can always speed it up, but a lot of times you can't slow it down quick enough, because it just like that,
Yeah.
and it's lost some steps or whatever. So, I've always have recommended to folks start very conservative, a slower feed rate, and also even a shallower depth of cut. Because if you run a project and it takes too long and you go, oh, my machine didn't even labor at all doing that, then you can go either a little deeper or faster or both. Okay, we've got a question here. Any tips on dust collection on the Onefinity? Paul, do you have dust collection?
I do. I use the Sucket dust collector that I bought through Onefinity, and I have it hooked to a 2.5-inch hose, which goes to a Harbor or a Home Depot separator on a 5-gallon bucket, and from there it's just a Sears Quiet shop vac. It's like a 4-gallon one. It's pretty quiet, and it works fine. I have a dust collector in my shop, but I don't hook my CNC to it because the shop vac does a great job, and it's actually quieter than the dust collector is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't have a Onefinity, so I can't give you any specifics about dust collection, but I have an old Reliant dust collector over there in the corner, and then I'm running 4-inch PVC up and across the ceiling, and then I have, you can see it back here, used to be clear. It's not clear so much anymore, but it's the Flexos. But I think the 4-inch works really well. I used to run with a 2.5-inch with a shop vac type setup. And if you ever go to a real dust collector with a 4-inch, you won't want to go back to a shop vac. Okay.
I've seen more questions tonight than I've seen in a year.
Yeah.
And good questions too.
A lot of them are there. Some folks are repeating, but that's okay. I mean, we're, I grabbed one of whatever that person's question was. So we're getting there, folks.
Okay. So I have a question for you. What is a good red paint for flags that won't turn on red? Anybody got an answer for that one? I haven't done any flags, so.
I don't use paint on my flags. I use stain. So I don't, like the one that's behind me there. That's all stain on that. Well, the crest, my unit crest there, that's painted, but the rest of the whole flag is all stained. And I believe that's all Minwax.
Mm-hmm.
Oil-based, I assume?
Yes. Yeah, it was really good. I like that stain. That's good. It's got a good pigment to it.
Man, we've got a lot of questions over here, all different kinds of questions. How do you manage your bit inventory? I probably should let somebody a lot more organized than me answer that.
It's not me.
It's not me either, because mine end up, I keep some of them on the CNC, like on the bed of the CNC. Some of them are on my desk. There's a few in the drawer, and there might be a couple on the floor.
Oh.
I have mine in the drawer, and when I can't find what I want, I order one from Cody.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I put a slider under my CNC, so it's got drawer sliders, but it's just a flat piece of wood, holes, and then a gap, and then another piece that's solid wood, so it goes through the hole and stops there, and I can blow it out, that gap between, but just on a slider, drawer slider.
Yeah, and I've
simple.
done drawers underneath my my router. I laser cut some, and then I literally made sections in it to where I could put my bits in order. As I use them, I can just store them on one side, and the new ones I'll put them on the other. Keeps them together, except for the ones I'm working with, just like Ryan, they're up on my table.
Well, this side of the
None on
drawer
the
right
floor.
below it, I don't store them on the table. I'm very unorganized normally, but
Yeah.
this drawer actually helped me be organized. And you're right. Once one gets a little bit older, it gets moved back a slot. I get a new bit, it gets the front spot, and they keep slowly working their way back. And
I used to have a magnet right up front, and I literally stick them to the magnet. But after a while, it's like, nah, keep them cleaner.
Yeah, I have a construction grade 2x12 with a bunch of holes in it. Some 1/2-inch holes. I do have a few 1/2-inch shank bits. Not very many of those, but when I was making that, I filled it up with holes, and I thought I will never get that thing full. Well, guess what? It's
full.
It's full. So I keep cycling them out. But I go through a lot of 1/4-inch upcut spirals. So I always have a ton of those on hand. And sometimes it's hard to remember when I put one back. And I have to have a special hole, until it is used so much that it's starting to get dull. Then I move it and put another new one in there. So, I have so many of them, it's hard to remember which one has got some miles on it and which one doesn't. But I could do a lot better. And as far as the inventory part in the tool database in VCAR Pro, don't even ask. It's kind of hodgepodge. I don't try to even keep that thing up. Okay, let's see here. John Hatfield says, "What's my favorite bit type manufacturer?" I'll let you guys go through and answer that one real quick. Ryan, do you have a favorite?
Well, it's Cody. Cody CNC. Cadence Manufacturing and Design. That he's got my favorite bits. That downtown Jenny's a workhorse. I haven't been able to use mine but once or twice, but because I haven't done any projects in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on you.
Yeah, it is. It's bad, but there is shop progress. So
Yeah,
it's coming.
there you go.
Paul, what about you? You have a favorite?
Yeah, I second Cody's bits, and the one I like the best is that new 60-degree down shear V bit that he has. I really like that.
Okay, Sean, how about you?
Well, I've been using a lot of Amana bits right now. I'm waiting for them to go dull. Once they go dull, I'll give Cody a try. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But until then, or hopefully I win one. That'd be nice.
yeah.
All right, Rob, how about you?
A big fan of Cody. He happens to be nearby. So actually, when I got my first bit, I stopped by his house and we talked a little while. And I got to see his shop, and he hand delivered
Called
it.
the cops.
And actually, this morning I'm doing a project, and I used 3 different Cody's bits. I had the 1/4-inch ball nose, the V60 down cut, and what's the 1/4-inch end mill, but it's the compound.
Oh, that's the
The
Jenny.
compression bit.
Compression. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, the compression. So I used 3 bits of his this morning. So
Nice.
video next week, hopefully. So
Okay. I only have 2 different kinds of, or no, 3 different kinds of Cody's bit. I've got the 60-degree V bit, which works really well. And then I have the compression, which I haven't even used. And then I have the downtown Jenny, just like the one we're going to be giving away tonight. And that works super good. But the sad thing is most of the bits I use most of the time are upcut spirals. when I cut a lot of plywood. So I'm still going through those. And as far as the upcut spirals, I don't really have a favorite. I've tried them all because having, cutting Gatton CNC kits out of plywood all the time, I had to figure out, I'd try different ones, see which one lasts longest. And I've always had the best luck with CMT bits. They seem to last longer. Whiteside's also a good one. Freud is a good one. I mean, there's a bunch of good ones, but CMT was the one that I seem to get the most mileage out of. Now, as soon as Cody starts making an upcut spiral, I guess I'll have to try one of those. Okay, depth and dimensions says, I'm new to your channel, sent over from Hamilton. Can you tell us newcomers what's my normal content? Well,
Ta-da!
that's
That puts you on the spot.
That's kind of hard because I don't know if any of my content is normal. I mean, I'm probably most known for my CNC stuff, not just the live streams, but back in 2014, just to give you a little Reader's Digest version of the history here, I used to make all kinds of stuff and still do. I just don't film much of the stuff I make now. But I would always, and I'm talking, it's different now. People have changed a little bit now and come around. But back in the earlier days, 2012, 13, stuff like that, if you did a project and you used even a little bit, used your CNC for just a little, maybe one little piece of the project, you would get the trolls, oh yeah, that's easy. You got a CNC, and I got so tired of hearing that one day after I was doing a video, at the end of it, I just said, look, this isn't rocket science. If there's anybody that wants me to show them how to build their own CNC, put a comment down below and I'll show you how to do it. And the rest is history, as they say, because I got overwhelmed with emails and comments and stuff. And then
I was one of them.
Yeah. And then I thought, oh crap, I gotta do this now. So I drew up a CNC. It was a plywood based machine. I gave those plans away. I didn't even sell them. I just gave them away. Gave away somewhere over 4,000 sets of plans. And that's kind of what put me on the YouTube map, I guess. People, in fact, those build videos are still get views and stuff. But then fast forward a couple years later to 2016, went to work one day, D-Day in 2016. I just remember that day. But I got out and went to work about 10 o'clock that morning. They called me in the office, says, we don't need you anymore. And I'm thinking, wow, I just turned 60 not long ago. What am I going to do now? I thought, I don't want a job. So I came home and I thought, you know what? I'm going to just design another CNC and see if I can make a go of this. And that's what I did. I sat down at my computer, fired up SolidWorks, modeled another CNC, which is now the Gatton CNC, that's still going strong, and haven't worked for the man another day. So been very fortunate, and of course, most of my content these days is this live stream. I will give a little bit of a hint. There's going to be something else new coming up, but I can't really say what it is just yet because it hadn't happened yet. But, you might want to subscribe if you like CNC stuff. So
he hasn't even told me.
Yeah. Well, I knew you'd blab it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, no, I haven't. I'm just keeping it all, close to the vest because I don't know if it's going to happen or not. About 99% sure it will. And then when it does, everybody else will know. Awesome. But anyway, I'm not sure if I really answered your questions there, depth and dimensions, but if you go look at my content, and this is something, some people don't really know, I guess, unless they go explore deep into my YouTube channel. But I have a lot of videos that have tons of views, and they're nothing about CNC. But yet, if you ask somebody, if somebody says my name, they'll go, yeah, that's that CNC guy. That's kind of what I'm known for. But I've done wood turning. I mean, you name it, I've done it. I like to do a lot of different things, and I've tried a lot of different things. So anyway, just check out my channel, subscribe if you want, and you'll see what we got coming up.
I guess half the episodes are just Q&A, like tonight. Well, we were going to talk, I think, about G55, 54, 55, but yeah, most nights it's just questions and answers. Sometimes there's a guest, sometimes there's a topic, but you never know. It's pretty loosey-goosey.
Yeah, I mean, I've done, I like to do demonstrations on the machine. Those seem to be more popular than us just sitting around talking. But then again, it depends on what we're talking about, because sometimes we have a guest on that's really interesting, or sometimes it's just like this where we're just answering questions. And I haven't even scrolled down yet, but I'm not even sure I'm going to have time to do the offset thing if I don't hurry up and get through these questions here.
It's a teaser for next week.
Yep.
Let's see. I have a question. I noticed Hamilton's bill with the lace-up toy, ton of holes, the genie bit burned, and he suggested an up spiral bit. Is there the best bit you would suggest? Yeah, if he was, I can't remember exactly what size hole that was, but if he was using a 1/4-inch bit, putting a 1/4-inch hole, you do not want to use the down cut bit.
Yeah,
because the down cut is forcing all the chips down, and if the hole is the same size diameter as a bit, there's no place for it to go, and it will start smoking, if not catch on fire. So that's one reason why I use, I mentioned that I use 1/4-inch upcuts. It's because when I run my plywood kits for the Gatton CNCs, there are a lot of 1/4-inch holes, and I can't use a down cut because I'm not out here. I'm usually somewhere else when the machine's running. I'm either watching it on camera or listening to it from another room. So I don't want to be taking a chance on starting a fire. So I always run an upcut bit.
Yeah, I think his holes were just over a 1/4-inch, but yeah, I was like, don't do that.
Yeah. Now if you're pocketing, say, a 5/16 hole or something, you might get away with it because then you got a little bit of room for the chips to go. But if it's like a 281 hole or something like that, that'd still be pretty tight. And like I said, that down cut bit is just shoving all them chips down,
packing it in.
Back a few episodes ago here on the show, when I was doing the making all these little, let's see if I can do this without knocking something down. Making all these little box joint boxes, I was using a 1/8 inch down cut bit. And the cool thing about a down cut bit is because it packs those chips down in there, you can run all those parts and not even put tabs on it. You don't have to worry about sanding the tabs off because it's not going to move once it cuts that last cut. All right, let's see here. Pete asks, what's your favorite project to make?
Dave's is Gatton CNCs.
Well, that's the one that makes me money. I won't say it's my favorite.
I made a sign. Probably my favorite one that I've done. It was a sign for where we have a beach, that place down at the beach in South Carolina. It was a surfboard about 4 feet long. And then it had Surfside Beach written on the front of it. And I ended up having to make about 8 or 9 of them. And that was probably my favorite one that I've done so far.
All right. Anybody else have a favorite project?
Mine's the next project.
That's what mine is. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I don't like production line work. I rarely do the same thing twice. I mean, I like making drums, of course, but I don't make two drums the same. They're always different. I like making all sorts of stuff. And like I say, I fight tooth and nail. I do not want to make this a business. I want to have a hobby that makes a few dollars and self-supports. But I know I could probably make more money by mass producing stuff, but it's not fun then. And it's not a hobby. And then I don't enjoy it and I'll quit. So I like being inventive and doing new stuff.
As long as the hobby pays for itself, that's all. That's
How do you make that happen, Sean?
Oh, you're lucky. Yeah. No, it's you can find. I have. As a matter of fact, I had a lady ask me to make a bunch of trays for a store. So I went ahead and knocked out a few of those. Just knowing people, I don't want to push it. I don't want to do 100 trays. I like to do a few. But other than that, today, I know it's a little show and tell, but gotta love October.
Cool. Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Freddie hiding up in there. This is what I love about the CNC is you can have fun and create your own art.
And I love 3D work like that. I like doing that. But when it comes down to making money, 3D takes a long time. And what do you have?
5 hours.
Just I was gonna say, I was gonna guess 6, but yeah, you can't justify selling that for what, $120 after you pay for your hours in it.
Yeah, if you have the right person, maybe.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Once I put 3D on a drum, a musical instrument, suddenly I can justify in the hundreds of dollars. But yeah, just the artwork.
Oh, your work is beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm surprised Sean didn't say the lantern boxes.
No.
There you go, Paul.
Those are fun, but everybody's got it. It's a fun, simple project.
Okay, let's catch some more questions here. Christopher says, trying to decide what software to use when the shop's new Onefinity finally comes in, what would be a good place to start? I'm not sure, but I think, doesn't the Onefinity have its own proprietary type stuff?
No, but you can buy Vectric through them at a reduced price.
Oh, well, yeah, the design software, but maybe that's what he was talking about. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Vectric. I'm a VCar Pro user, have been for years.
Now, is the Onefinity running G-code? I mean, like Mach 3 or what's it running?
No, Dave's right. It has its own built-in.
Okay.
Proprietary.
I probably misunderstood the question. He's probably talking about design software.
It's got its own smoke in the box.
Yeah. VCar, and a lot of people start out with VCar desktop because it's, I don't know, about half the money, I think. And you're limited by size, but that, may be enough to get you by for a good while until you at least learn it. And then if you want to upgrade to VCar Pro, they only charge you what the difference is. Some of the other ones I can't really speak to, like Carco and all of those. I will say I am not a fan of any of them that are a prescription or a subscription thing. I don't like the web-based stuff either.
You're tied to the internet.
Yeah, you're stuck with having to be on the internet to use it, and I just don't like the subscription type thing. Although a lot of them are going to that these days.
I'm a big VCar fan too. I tried using Fusion 360 when I started doing 3D stuff, and it's very different than VCar. VCar just came natural to me, and Fusion 360 just was a steep learning curve, and I was never happy with it. And I switched to using Blender for 3D work, and I'm still not good with it. But VCarve it's just so, all the Vectric stuff, it just is so natural. It's just easy to learn.
Yeah, it is pretty easy. And plus, because so many people use it, there's tons of tutorials out there. So,
yep.
All right. I'm not sure I understand this question. I don't see the homemade ink in the background.
It's an autocorrect. It's supposed to be CNC. He's talking about your old Gatton that you have.
Oh, the Gatton CNC. Would I recommend building?
Yes.
Well,
Let's start
We all
out.
built, yeah.
it's
Kalani, I guess, yeah. 3 of us built here.
one of the big selling points to the Gatton CNC, which is why I'm in business here, is that you can buy the kit, you get the detailed plans. You don't have to lay out a bunch of money up front. Like most CNCs, you're going to have to spend, 2, 3, 4, 5, who knows how much money up front to get it. But with mine, because you buy the kit that gets the basic gantry parts cut from plywood, you get the detailed plan. So if you don't have the money to buy, and plus building mine, there's no, you're not locked into any controller. I have people running a Masso controller with it. I have people Ryan's running Raspberry Pi with his. Some people use Gerbil. Some people use Mach 3, Mach 4, UCCNC. They can build whatever kind of controller they want and use it. But, building a CNC is probably not right for everybody. There's a lot of people that don't want to fool with that. They just want to get it, plug it in, and go. I totally get that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I will say, I think that if you build your own CNC, regardless of whether it's mine or, there's several other plans out there that you can get, I think you have a much better understanding and know how to troubleshoot the thing a whole lot better than the guy I see it all the time in the Facebook groups. They're shooting little videos saying my machine's doing this. What is it? And they're posting it on the Facebook group, or they're, calling tech support and fussing because tech support hadn't got back with them yet and stuff. And, like I said, building it's not for everybody, but I have a lot of admiration for my customers that have not just bought a kit to support me, but have put the thing together. And every time they post a picture on Facebook of some project they run, it just makes me feel good knowing that I helped somebody who probably didn't even know how to spell CNC before. They've not only built a CNC, but now they're running. And I have a lot of customers that have built a CNC, kind of started a business accidentally because, they may not have planned on it, but you know how it is. You start showing people stuff that you can do, and next thing you know, you're getting orders, and, it turns into a little business. But I have a lot of customers that have built a Gatton CNC and are now running a business and probably have something more like what I have behind me here. So I don't know. I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure it did, but JR says, settling into the new house, building my new space, albeit temporary, till I build a shop. Anyone using a network attached storage for CNC project file management? Anybody want to tackle that one?
I'm not doing that, but I was thinking about it. But I haven't done that. But I think there was a couple of answers in the chat. People were talking with JR about that. So hopefully there was a little bit of information that was gone through on that.
The folder I keep all my files in backs up automatically online. So all my stuff is backed up, but it's on my hard drive too. Just Google Drive all I use. It's simple.
Dennis asked, does anyone know of an insurance company that writes liability insurance for small woodworking companies?
I think this is a really good and valid question. But any of the insurance companies out there really that you deal with on a regular basis should be able to write you some sort of liability insurance. Do you really need it? I guess it really depends on what you're making. If you're making soap dishes or a sign, I don't think it's really necessary for it. But I guess but if you're making benches that people are sitting on or some, whatever it is, maybe that's more. But talk to your insurance people. That's the best thing you can do, and
Yeah.
see what they say on what they would suggest.
Speaking of that, did anyone else get nervous when Hamilton made the little bow and arrow? I was nervous that he's going to get sued, but I don't think he's probably safe. But that one's a little scary, actually. I grew up with lawn darts. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I have a cousin
Yeah.
that got a lawn dart right in the eye.
Yeah, we're not sissies like they are these days.
Yeah.
Yard dog, what do they call them things? Jarts, I think they call them. Or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
that was growing up in the '80s, right there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
those were the days. All right, Dan says, what is your go-to bit for inlays? I haven't done a lot of inlays, and really the ones I've done a couple of the resin inlays, and this is before I had the Jenny, what is it, Groovy Jenny. So I just used a well, actually I was just using a 1/8 inch end mill for that, because all of the things I was doing was let's see, did I use no, I take that back. I guess I did use the 60-degree V bit for one of them that I did, but like I said, that was before that was BC, before Cody. So
going back to the insurance question, let's see here. I'm trying to click on it. There you go. Come on. There you go. There you go. Didn't know the name of it right offhand, but April Wilkinson is I guess a supporter of one insurance company that's on Facebook ads a lot. So keep an eye on Facebook ads. Just think about insurance and you'll get the ads.
yeah, that's right. All you have to do is think about it, and the ads will start popping up.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan asked, do you still run the shop built CNC? I do not still run mine. I've taken it apart. Now you can't see it. I've got it all stacked back over here in this corner. I had, this is going to sound crazy. At one time I had 4 different CNCs in this shop, and this is a 20 by 22 garage is what it is. And it just got to the point where the other CNCs that I had, I'm terrible if I have a flat surface. So I walk by something and I just, let me just set this here. And next thing I know, I'd have all the CNCs that I was not using covered up with stuff. And I thought, I just need to take those down because I don't use them. When you have a machine like this, you don't really need, any other CNC. So I thought, it's been a good CNC. It served me well and made me a ton of money. So I'm going to take it apart. I can always put it back together. I've got all the hardware saved in that jar and all that stuff. So I could always put it back together. But right now I'm trying to get down to one CNC and make room for new toys.
There you go. 100-watt laser right in the corner.
There you go.
The Makers Universe says, what software do you use with the pin adapters on your CNC if you use them?
You can use whatever G-code program you want, really. I mean,
V-Car won't even do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell the Z to go down, a little bit, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, and I was going to try to grab something and show it, but I'm not sure where it is right now. But I have a video. Somebody was asking about my content. I have a video out probably, 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe, of how to make a DIY marking pen or whatever. You could get those different colored markers and put it, and then I just use VCar Pro to program it. and you just set your Z and so that it would come down enough to put enough pressure on it. And it had the, I used a little tiny like drawer slide, and that made enough weight that it was always putting pressure on the pin. So you could sit there and draw with a marker in it.
So it wasn't spring loaded, just the gravity was all it needed.
Yeah, because that drawer slide was so heavy that, you know, you just bring it down and set your zero far enough down that it would touch, and then you'd make sure you bring it up higher when you're moving, but when you're writing, it would just, the weight from the little drawer slide would work.
Who did we have on that did all the drawings with the CNC? We did we did the show with somebody.
He was doing
I'm
t-shirts.
blanking on who it was.
He had permanent.
Oh, that was
t-shirts.
Brian. I can't remember his last name. It's a weird last name. It's Builds with Brian as his YouTube channel.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, check out his site or his channel. He's got some really good videos on doing it with pens and stuff. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I printed out an adapter that goes around the spindle, and then your pin would sit inside of it. And I want to say it was off of Thingiverse, of all places. And you just 3D print it and then bolt it together and then slip your pin in. And
All right, we're going to have to still got a lot of questions to go through. Let's see if we can get through all these real quick. When working with plywood signs, what's the best way to get the fuzzies out?
Sandpaper.
wire brush.
Sharp bit.
Oh.
First of all.
I would like to try Hamilton's way on using a sandblaster.
Yeah,
That
I really
sounds
like the way
interesting.
he does that.
Yeah, I would have never thought of it until he said that.
But if you don't have a sandblaster, and probably most people don't, probably the absolute easiest way to try to get the fuzzies out, if you're V-carving a sign, is to just run a second pass and even drop it down just a few 2, 3, 4 thousandths, and then run it again, because a lot of times it will clean up what it left the first time. And you should, and since I'm talking about that, you should always, I'm sure probably most of you guys know this, but you should always look at your, whatever it is, however you've got it held down, whether it be CA and tape or clamps or whatever, always look at it before you take it loose. Because once you've taken it loose, unless you've got a really fancy fixture, you're done. So always look at it first. And that way, if you look in there and you see fuzzies, you can go over there, do an MDI command, tell it to go to 0, and then tell it to go 3 or 4 thousandths deeper, and then hit cycle start and run it again, and it'll clean out some of those fuzzies. And it probably work with any bit, but I'm thinking, you know, if you're talking signs, you're probably thinking some kind of a V bit. Okay. JR, is that it? Look at him. Quick shout out to Cadence Manufacturing Design, weekly supporter of the show. Every Saturday night, that dude's giving away a bit here on the show.
Let's go, Cody.
Jenny line of bits, fantastic tooling, made in the USA, and active supporter of the CNC community. And just an all-around cool dude, if you ask me.
He's a good guy.
Yes.
He only paid me $30 to say that 5 times a show.
How do you know when a bit is too dull?
Good question.
Well, you know, the easiest way is you can just tell it's not cutting as well. And if you start thinking, you know, you do like I do, because I buy those CMT up spiral bits, and I used to try to put little marks, you know, and every time you get 5, put across. You know, I try to keep track of how many blanks I ran, and I knew I could get, you know, if I got to about 20 blanks, it was time to switch that bit. Or actually, I started doing that when I was trying to figure out which bit I got the most mileage from, because I was running white side sometime and Freud sometime, and then CMT sometime.
when it
When it
catches
catches
fire.
Yeah, when it catches fire, definitely.
It's a rough 2-belt ball. Yeah.
That's probably the time to throw it away after it's cooled off. Let's see. What do we got here? What state are you guys from?
Confusion.
Okay. All right. Let's start with you, Paul. You're from Michigan, right?
Michigan.
Right.
Iowa.
Blue.
Arizona, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Okay.
Maryland.
And Iowa.
In Iowa. And I'm in good old Georgia, just outside of Atlanta a little bit. Larry Brand says, I love your dog bowl file. Runs great. Thanks for the demo video. You're welcome. Jack is pretty happy with his dog bowl. And for those of you new watching and tonight, and I know we got a bunch of you out here, a few shows back, probably now, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 shows ago, I did a live demonstration where I did made a new dog bowl stand for my big dog, Jack, which you'll probably meet sometime or another because he might come out here sometime.
He's a good boy. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, yeah. How about Fusion 360 for CAD and CAM? Mike, I'm going to tell you, I am not a fan of Fusion 360, but don't judge it by what I say. I have never liked Autodesk products. Back when they had AutoCAD 12, all the way, AutoCAD Inventor, you name it, all the way. And I have tried Fusion 360. When I bought this Avid CNC, they gave away part of the deal was you got a free 1-year trial membership for Fusion 360. And at first I told them I didn't want it. And then I thought, well, heck, it's free. I might as well get it. It's not costing me anything extra. So I got it. And I thought I'm going to make a concentrated effort to try to learn it this time. I lasted about 20 minutes.
That
But
was my last dog.
But I am an old-time SolidWorks user, so SolidWorks is the best for me. But a lot of people use Fusion 360 and love it for both CAD and CAM.
Yeah,
That's it. I really wanted to use it. I wanted 3D, and it's the price is right. It's free for hobbyists. I really wanted it to work, and I gave up, and I bit the bullet for VCarve, and so I'm a cheap guy. And $700 about killed me to buy VCarve, but it's the best investment I've made with my CNC stuff. It is so powerful, easy to use. I just love VCarve.
I must be the guilty one because I use Fusion 360. I
A lot
love
of
it.
3D
I love
printers
it for
use
the
it a lot.
mechanical. Yeah, I love it for the mechanical, and actually I'm printing something that was done on. Now, when it comes to the modeling part, like faces or objects of that nature, no, I'm no good at that. But when it comes to mechanical designs, yes, I personally like Fusion 360. I've been playing a little bit with Design Sparks, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Dave did a bunch of videos on teaching some Design Spark stuff, and that's what I use when I do 3D printed stuff now. So like parts for my scoreboard build and all that, I did them all on Design Spark, which I found personally every time I use Fusion 360, I have to try to figure out how to use it again because I don't use it often enough, and have to reteach myself. So I found Design Spark to be a little bit more user friendly in that aspect.
I don't use Fusion for the CAM side of it either. I just use it for the modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you who may not know what Design Spark Mechanical is, that is a free download. It's great stuff. Now if you want to create drawings mechanical drawings and print out paper and stuff like that, that's an extra, I don't know, $500-600 I think you got to buy. But the basic thing, the Design Spark Mechanical, which I use all the time for creating STLs for 3D printing, and if I'm just 3D modeling something that I'm going to make here in my shop, I use that. Anything else, if it's super easy and just 2D, I just use Vectric VCarve Pro for that.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know who let this guy in here. Bob Wood from Bob CNC says, Dave, are you going to try paragliding? No. No. Don't look for a video out on that, Bob, for sure.
It'd be a fun one.
You'll see Dave paragliding the moment after he modifies his Ender 3.
I do not heal up as good as I used to.
Oh.
You did have a drone phase a while back, though. You were flying drones. Is that close?
Yeah, that's
he flew one.
I'm still on the ground on those.
His feet are planted.
Yeah. Okay, Jerry Brown says, anyone have a location for regrinds? I have a pile of 1/4-inch bits piling up. I do not. I have all kinds of bits that I know are I tell you what I do, Jerry, is whenever I'm getting ready to cut aluminum, I always grab a bit that I don't care about. I have a little marker, like I said, in my drawer back there. I'll take a red felt pen and mark the end of it, and that way I know it's one that it's too dull to use for wood. But I'm thinking, well, I'll go ahead and try it with aluminum, because if I break it, it's no big deal. I was going to throw it away anyway. And a lot of the aluminum that I've cut that you've seen in videos that I've made, that's all with older bits that seem to cut aluminum better than they did wood. So, but I don't know of any place to get them sharpened, and I don't know if I'd even spend the money to do that. I don't know what it costs. I guess you'd have to do the cost comparison and see if it's worth it, but I have never done that. Bob P's in the house with a, whoops, if I can hit it up here. There it is. Well, where'd it go? There it is. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate the super chat. Tim Starr says, Dave, I am a long time user of SolidWorks 2001. What post do I use? I don't use a post processor. I guess that's what you're asking. I just use SolidWorks to create it, and then I'll import it. Or I did use SolidWorks to create it. I'm trying to wean myself off of SolidWorks, and that's why I started using the Design Spark Mechanical, because I picked it up pretty easy, and I like using it. So I'm trying to get away from using the SolidWorks, because I have it on a separate computer, and it's a pain to have to get it out and hook it all up and stuff. So it's not on my other computer. But I guess he was talking about post processor. When I hear post, that's what I think of, and I'm not using a post processor. I'm using VCarve Pro for that. Okay, here's another question kind of along the same lines. Best program to make custom 3D designs? I guess it just depends. If when you say designs, if you're talking 3D mechanical type stuff, I'd say Fusion 360, SolidWorks, or Design Spark Mechanical, something like that. If you're talking about the artsy fartsy type of 3D designs, then I would say probably Vectric Aspire. I don't know
if you're looking for free, there is Blender, and there's a lot of guys out there in the 3D modeling world that they use Blender.
I touch Blender, but I usually find a 3D file or buy a file, and I need to tweak it somehow, and I take it into Blender, and I can tweak things there. If I had to do something from scratch, that's
the heck of a learning curve.
I'd buy Aspire then probably, but like I said, I'm cheap. I can't convince myself to get Aspire, man.
Yeah, you're not the only. But it is free, and if for some people they like to learn something new, and there's a lot of tutorials on it.
Okay.
Rob, I still work off of Easel, so I got
There you
you
go.
on that, buddy.
I think Mary wants to see some offsets tonight. So we can try to do
Yeah.
that real quick.
JR said that there's only 3 minutes left to do offsets.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to offset that.
Are we gonna do offsets, or are we gonna do the bit giveaway?
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, well, if we're going to do offsets, we got to do that before the big giveaway, because if we do the giveaway, there's nobody's left to see the offsets. So, I'll let you guys vote in the chat there. Do you want to see offsets tonight, or you want me to postpone that and just do the Chinny Bit giveaway, and we'll do the offsets another time? Either way, I can do it either way. It doesn't take that long to show you the offsets if y'all want to see them. And I don't even remember who it was last week that asked that. They may not even be watching tonight. I don't know. So, one other question we had too is Jeff Connor asked, is anyone planning to attend the 22nd annual Klingspor Woodworking Extravaganza show in Hickory, North Carolina later this month? I don't think I'm going to be going, just because I don't need anything. And if I was to go,
I don't want to bring anything home.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I think, I'll just go because you get to hang out with a lot of other woodworkers, and in my case, there's some CNC folks there too, and that is my favorite woodworking show of all of them. But I just probably won't go, because every time I go, I end up spending a bunch of money and bringing something home with me, and I don't really need any more toys right now.
David, looks like everybody wants to see the offsets, man.
All right, well, let's do it. We'll do them real quick here. You watch the chat. We're going to have to disconnect here for a second, so I won't be able to hear you, so y'all can talk about me while I fire this thing up. I do have the camera set up there
Oh, nice.
so you see the show.
Very good. All right. Now we can talk about him. Very good.
Actually, this would be pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Offsets are
Yeah.
pretty. I like his tools that he uses to show offsets. So everybody should get something out of this. And this will only take a couple minutes, and then we'll do the giveaway. Won't be a
Okay,
big
I'm
deal.
going to try to bring up Mach 3 here. Now, one bad thing about doing this is I do not have this computer that I'm doing the live stream with connected to the machine. So I'm going to bring up Mach 3, and I'll have to show you what I'm doing, but you really won't be able to see it, because I'm going to be it's going to be on that other machine back there. And I have a TV screen up there, but even if I show that, I don't think you can see it. So, but I'll bring this up here and share this page and show you what I'm going to be doing.
It's been a good crowd tonight. We appreciate everybody showing up.
It's been great. Good questions. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see if I can share this screen here.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, there it went. There it goes.
Okay, so you can see my little red mouse here flipping around here. So what I'm going to be doing is I move this machine around. I'm going to be showing how to set these different offsets. And the one that's by default is going to be a G54. So if you're using Mach 3 or if you're a Mach 3 user and you go to close it out at the, if you've set a new work coordinate, you might notice it'll come up with a little window before you close it out that says, where it asks you if you want to a fixture save, they call it.
Mhm.
And if you click yes, it will save that last work offset that you did as a G54. But what I'm going to show you is how, and you can do a lot more than this. There's 54 through 59 here, but there's really a bunch more of them. Let's see if I can remember where they are. I think they're, yeah. So you got 54 through 59, and then it goes, well, I don't have my glasses on, but you can see there's a whole bunch of them.
Mhm.
And you'll probably never use that many. But let me home this thing, and then we'll get started showing this. Let's see.
It's alive. Need a little oil there, Ryan.
Okay, so right now, if I just go to my main Mach 3 screen and hit this go to 0 right here, it's going to save whatever the last work offset is that I used last. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. I don't think it's going to crash. Maybe it will. We'll see. But if I just come over here and I hit this go to 0, okay, so we probably should have had this.
We were both hitting it.
I'm gonna need a cameraman tonight, guys.
I'm trying.
Okay, so right here was apparently the last G54 that I had set up. But if I get ready to run something new, and I'm going to run something right here, let's say. Let's see if I can get this thing. I'm going to get it sort of close. Okay, so if I move it to there, and I now going to run a project right there where that's my work coordinate, and I zero this stuff out, and then I run it and I home it again or whatever. In fact, I guess I'll do that just for the heck of it here. I'm going to go ahead and zero the Z out and leave it up high so it doesn't crash into anything. So we'll just rehome this. Okay, and now if I come and I hit go to 0 now, it's going to come to that one because that's the latest one that I did. But let's say that, and I don't really, I'll try to think of a good example, but let's say you've got a machine and you run pretty much two things. You run a small, maybe a camping sign or something, and then you run everything else that's bigger. Well, maybe you might have a fixture that's on your table where you could bolt down that fixture and it would work with both of these things and you never have to remove that fixture. You can leave it on there. So if I take, I'm going to set a G55 over here. And let's see if I can do this again. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and again, I apologize because I'm going to have to show you on this other screen what I'm going to do. Okay, so now I've moved this over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the G55 button, and then I'm going to zero these coordinates out. And you're not going to be able to see it because I'm doing it over here on this screen. But I'm going to come over here to the offset page. I'm going to come down here and tell it to make the active offset G55. Which I hope that's what it just did, yeah. And then I'm going to come over here to where it says reference all home, and I'm going to zero the X, the Y, and the Z. So now I've got two offsets set up. I have a G55 and I have a G54. So if I want to come back to run this, right? Switch that camera for me.
Yep.
I'm going to come over here and I'm going to tell it to make the G54 the active offset. And then if I come back to that main page and hit go to zero, it's going to go to that one. If I go back to the offset page, because now I'm out here and I'm getting ready to run a project over here on this fixture, I can come to the offsets, come down here and make that G55 the active one, and then come back to the main page and hit go to zero, and it's going to come back there. And again, I've just got two of them set up, but you could do this. We'll throw another one. I'll put a G56 right here. And if I want to set up another job right there, again, I would come back over here to the offsets page, make G56 the active offset, and then tell it to zero these out here. And then if I come back to, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make G54 the active offset. And come back to the main page. It go to zero, and it should come back up here to the one that says G54.
Hey Dave, I'm trying to move that screen, change the camera view, and it's not letting me. Sorry.
Okay, it's probably because we have to remove. See the one that I've got the Mach 3 on? You have to hit remove for that, and then hit this. There we go. Okay, so I'll go back through this again. So now if I want to come back to that G56, which is towards the back, I just come up here to that offset page, come over here and make G56 the active one, come back, hit go to zero. It's going to go to that one.
That's pretty slick.
I'm gonna set 55 as the active, so now it will come right here. If I hit go to zero, so you can see how you can put, fixtures on your table. And if, like, say you have 3 or 4 different projects, but you've got a good sized table like mine, you could maybe do, 3 or 4 projects on there, and just once you get the fixtures all dialed in, you could just leave them and save these offsets. And then all you have to do is, when you come out to run your machine, home it so that it knows where home position is. I should mention that, I guess, is you could do this if you don't have homing switches, but you would have to have some place on your machine, either a hole or something where you, or maybe just pull it up against the frame or something, and you would have to say, this is home position, because the offsets are the distance from wherever home is. So that's how it works. You have to be able to tell it where it's at, because if you just come out in the morning and turn the machine on and it's sitting in front of the middle of the table and you tell it to go to an offset, it doesn't know where it's at. It's got to know where it was or where home is. So, but once you home it, if you got homing switches, it's easy. You just home your machine, and then you could go to any of these saved offsets, which really a saved offset is really just a saved work coordinate that you're using to run a job. All right. That's, I don't know if I really need to spend time to show any more, because I got 3 of them here. It's the same. It's, just rinse and repeat no matter how many offsets you want to set up. So do we have any questions about anything that I need to?
Yeah. I'm bringing one up here. So you could use the lower left corner for a spindle offset, and then a different one for a pen, like 3 inches by 3 inches, different from where the spindle one is. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Dwayne. If, for example, let's say, either a pen, or let's say, I know a lot of you guys have those little diode lasers. You can see my hand here coming in here. Let's say you've got a diode laser attached to one side of your machine. Well, you could set up a job over here on this lower left-hand corner, like that G54 is, and have it set to the spindle. But then on the other offset for a G55, you could set it over here and go, okay, I want it where my diode laser is shooting down or whatever. So you could set them up for whatever. And that could be a laser. It could be, if you have a pin, those pin things like you're talking about on the side or in the front or wherever. It could be different than your actual spindle. And it would still, you could still do it. Any other questions?
Yes, there's one other asking about how do you dial in a fixture? It's really just making sure that the zero, wherever you place your fixture, that you can lock it down.
Yeah,
right?
The absolute best way to dial in a fixture is to make it and then don't move it. Put the piece down on your table bed, bolt it down where you want it, and then run the. I used to do that a lot with. I take a piece of MDF, and if I had parts that were just a blank, I would measure those blanks, and hopefully they're all close enough the same, and then I would just mill a pocket in the MDF. In fact, let me show you. Brian, if you could click the camera back to me just for a second.
Yep. What? Oh, I hit something.
Oh,
Just deleted Dave. Show's over.
There we go.
there he is.
Here, I'll just hold it in front of this one. This right here, and this is in pretty bad shape, but this is a fixture that I bolt to I clamp to the machine, and then this is for the Gatton CNC uprights, and it's just a pocket in MDF. So I set those two uprights in there. I engrave Gatton CNC. Here's my center point where I set my 0 right here, and then it'll come over here, or I can't remember which one it does first. I think it's this one. It'll put Gatton CNC, and then it'll come over here and put Gatton CNC, and then when it gets done, I take this one out and flip it over there, and vice versa. But I don't have to clamp them. I just push them in there, and the MDF holds them. So that's kind of an example of easy to make fixture.
Raymond's got a good question about it. Do you have to reload those offsets in Mach 3 each time, or does Mach 3 save them?
No, if I come right here, right down here where it says save work offsets. Now, of course, again, there's nothing showing up here because I'm on a different computer for what I'm doing here. But if I go over to that computer and open that up, there will be the 3 offsets that I have on the table right now. It'll have the coordinates for those. So you would just click save those, and then I could come out tomorrow morning, fire up the machine, home it, tell it I want to go to G56, and it should go right out there to the back part of the table where G56 is.
Very cool.
Okay, they're really once you understand how they work, they're really simple to use. And like I said, G54 is basically by default the one that you save every time you click save fixture when you're exiting Mach 3. In fact, let's see if I can get it to do it here.
I have a question, Dave.
Okay, see, I've got Mach 3 over here, and I don't know if this will work or not because I didn't have a program loaded. But ask if I want to end the session, and I click yes, and there it came up, and it says fixture save. So if I click yes, it's going to remember the last work coordinate that I set in that one. Okay, somebody had a question?
Yeah, I do. I have a question, Dave.
Okay.
On my Onefinity, I don't use Mach 3.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a program that I drew up in VCarve, and I use VCarve to generate the G code, could I go into that G code and add, for instance, a G54 with a coordinate, and it would take it there? You follow what I mean?
I don't know. I know there's got to be somebody with a Onefinity out there in the chat because we've got all these people that have come over from Hamilton Stream. I would guess I don't know because I know that's a proprietary type kind of sort of controller they use. I would guess that they have a way to set up offsets just like I did. It's going to be a little different, but basically the concept is all the same.
Yeah, the Gerbil, you can do G54 through G59, I think, if I remember correctly. So you should be able to save the offset.
You just have to find out where to put it and how to make it recognize that as a location on the spoil board.
Yeah. I wish I had access to one of their controllers. I've been wanting to see one and take it apart.
No, I missed it. I clicked it wrong. There it is. Nancy.
Oh, there we go.
Says, yes, Onefinity can do offsets.
Okay.
Pretty much all of them do. I'm pretty sure even the Gerbil ones, I think you can. I know the G Sender, you can do it.
Yeah, Bob Wood saying they're saved in the firmware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's a little different depending on the controller software you're using, but the concept is basically the same. You move it to a work coordinate that you want to save, and then you tell it, I want to save it as G54, 55, 56, whatever. And then you just have to remember, where to set your fixture up, unless it's something you just leave on there all the time.
That's when I use the offset. When I use the offsets, I like the same thing. I do 3 times. I do 3 at one time because it has a skimming toolpath, and I have a 1/8" roundover, a 16" roundover, or a V-carve bit, and then a cutout with an 1/8" bit. So 5 bit changes, and it's easier to run at 5, do these 3 parts, then do 1 bit change, and it saves me a lot of time. But it also, you have to be careful, you know, which offset you're in, because it's easy to forget to change to one offset, and then suddenly you mess things up. So the hard part is, I like your little tiles there. Put those right on each part. So I don't know, something. It's a powerful tool, but it's easy to mess up. You forget which toolpath or which offset you're using, but it really is a powerful tool.
Yeah, you could add that in with your fixture or something like that. If you are making your fixture, you just put G55 like in the corner of it or something, just as a reminder. That would probably be a good way to do it.
Yeah. Scott asked, he says, so if you set up G55, all you have to set is the Z0.
Yeah.
I purposely zeroed mine up in the air because I was going to be zipping it around, and I didn't want to take a chance on catching the end of that bit. But if you can actually save the Z, in fact, here's an example. If I set, well, let me just do it. Let me just do it right quick. Well, I should have just, I need to go to the closest one, don't I? All right, I'm gonna set this one up. I'm eyeballing here. Okay, I think I'm just about touching. Yep, I'm right at it. Now, of course, if I was doing this for real, I would use my touch plate here, just for the purpose of this demonstration. I've got that right on the corner, and I'm going to come back over here to my offsets page, and I'm going to make G56 the active offset, and then I'm going to zero out the X, the Y, and the Z. Now, I know you can't see this, but I'm zeroing this out on the offset page for Mach 3, not on the main page for Mach 3. Okay, so everything is zeroed out. So now I'm going to raise this up, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to make G54 active. And then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to hit go to 0, and it should come up towards us here. Okay, now you notice the Z didn't go all the way down because that's where I had the Z zeroed a while ago, is up in the air like that. But now when I go in the offset page, make offset 56, the active. I gotta get close enough to see this thing. I keep thinking I don't have my glasses on. I'm gonna hit the wrong button and this thing's gonna go crashing somewhere. Okay, so if I make G56 the active offset, and then I come back over here and I hit go to 0, it goes right down to where I set it. I guess you can see that this thing's kind of in the way. But it's right there.
We can see it. We can see it drop.
Yeah. So you can save your Z like that, but I don't know that I would even bother trying to do that because, you know, material varies, and if you've changed the bit out since then, it may not be the same height. I don't never trust keeping the same Z. I always set it with my Touch Pro. But as far as the XY coordinate, when you're putting in fixtures or something like that, if you put it the same place every time, that will be dead on every time.
Yeah. Dave, Marcelo had a question, I guess, of clarification on it. Wouldn't these distances be inputted into Mach 300 G-code offset? And I believe I know the answer, but I don't use the Mach 3, so.
Well,
I would say no, because your G-code offset is off of a particular.
See,
zero.
these offsets are to set up totally different fixtures or things. You know, if you're doing, because I mean, you think about it, if you're using, say, VCar Pro to program, you can lay out parts and you don't have to worry about an offset because it's going to run them, you know, with the G code that's created in VCar Pro. And it doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't use the G54. It just knows because you've told it to go all these parts, it'll do one and then move to the other one. Or depending on how you have it optimized, it may go and do all the holes on all the parts and then come back and start parting them out. You know, just depends on how you have it optimized to cut. But the offsets are, at least in my mind, mainly for using different fixtures where you can clamp something down on the left front corner and you don't have to remove it. You could set something else over here on the right. You could set something back. I mean, as much room as you have on your table, you could set up a bunch of different offsets. And then as long as you don't move that fixture and you have that offset saved, you can then just make that offset active, say go to it, and boom, it goes right to that spot.
Yeah, that makes work nice and easy. Now, you know, as you're saying this, my first thought is to pin the jigs in your table. Does that make sense? To preset your jigs in, but then drill a pin this way every time you set your jig up on the table or your tool. It would be perfect.
That's probably the best way is when you know, to make, you know, when you're putting your fixture on the table, you could, you know, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but can you see these right here?
Yeah.
Where I'm pointing my fingers. I don't know if you can see
For
it.
your rotary
bit.
tool, yeah.
This is in the middle of each one of these MDF slats here. I've got a blind hole that I've just put a 1/4 inch end mill, and I started there and I came down and I put, I don't know how far it goes down in, maybe 1/4 inch or something. But what I do is I can take, here's one of my bits that had, if you look close, you can see it's got the red marker on it. So I know this one's not really any good. But you can take these, I probably got sawdust and stuff in it now, and I can put two bits, you know, however wide I need to go, and put my blank here and pull it against it. And I know I've now got it set in a spot that's parallel to my gantry. Although most of the stuff I run, I mention this all the time, most of the stuff I run is not that critical. So I got where I just take this and I'll set it on here and I'll eyeball it to the edge of the holes, you know, going across here. And that's good enough for what I'm doing, because most of the stuff I run, it's inside of a skeleton. It's got a frame around it. So it's not that it has to be perfect. But if I do run something perfect, I can set, you know, pins in these holes and pull something back against it. I used to do the same thing with my rotary. I would put pins in here, and that way I could just quickly pull it against that, clamp it down, then pull those pins out, and I knew I had it parallel with my x-axis. I didn't have to guess at it.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Any other questions, or are we done?
I think that was good. I think that was
Okay.
really helpful.
All right. Well, I hate that I didn't have, you know, I just don't have that machine computer on the internet where I could show the actual screen. But I think you get the gist. It's really easy to do. And like I said, all the different software controllers pretty much do that. And I'm sure if you dig that thing out that we never read called the manual, you probably find it in there. Because all this stuff is in the Mach 3 manual. And I saw a question earlier. I wanted to get back to it. If I can scroll up, I don't remember where it was. Here was a question here. It says, Dave, next time take a poll and see how many of us use Mach 4. I have taken that poll before where I put it on Facebook and I'll say, how many of you use, and then I will list the choices, Mach 3, Mach 4, UC, CNC, Gerbil, other, Masso, whatever. And I can tell you, every time I run that pole, Mach 3 is hands down the number one control software being used. It's been around the longest. A lot of people think, it's not any good, it's outdated, it doesn't work. I'm still using it, and I won't ever change until it stops working. And I've been using it 15 years, and it does everything I need it to do. So yeah, so I've done that pole, and Mach 3 is hands down the winner. Okay, any other questions? I don't see any more. I guess we need to do a Jenny bit drawing and get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's
We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes.
okay, we've got 167 entries in there. The hashtag is downtown. Hashtag downtown. So I'll give you a minute or two to put that in if you're one of those folks who wait until the end of the show to join, because that's when I'm usually going to do the drawing. But get it in there, and we will. It's bumping up a little bit. We'll do the thing, and let me show you one more time. We're doing the this one right here, the downtown.
That is pretty.
Downtown.
Thanks, Cody, for being the sponsor, buddy.
He is the man, isn't he? All right, we've got 175. Let's do this. Good luck, everybody. Yep. And here we go.
Who's it going to sit on? Oh,
Billy F. Not to be confused with Billy G. Billy F.
Different Billy.
Congratulations, Billy.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Okay, now look at the live viewer number and watch it go. All right. Sorry if you were here to watch to see the offsets that we took so long to get to that, but we had a lot of great questions, a lot of new viewers tonight. I appreciate all you guys that came from Hamilton's thing, and don't be a stranger. We're here every Saturday night talking CNC stuff and doing whatever. And of course, we always give away a Jenny bit by Mr. Cody. So thank y'all for that. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Hey, it was a good show today. I appreciate everybody showing up.
It was good. A lot of great questions. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, a ton of questions. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here then. And let's see. Let me get my thing ready here. Again, thank you all for joining. Congrats to Hamilton, man. That was an awesome thing. Yeah. And congrats on the whole Make Timber thing. That was just freaking awesome. I enjoyed that so much. I wish I had the energy to do, a project today. That's just crazy. But congratulations. I'm glad everything went well for him. And yeah.
You want to throw up Cody's address there? Throw up the address for Cadence Manufacturing.
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's you want to contact Cody at www.cadencemfgdesign.com and tell him you were the winner, and he will get that downtown Jenny to you. All right. Well, we're out of here. Thanks again, and we will see you all next Saturday.
And don't forget the Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge is coming.
Oh, yeah. I always forget to run that.
You didn't put the ticker on.
Yeah. There we go. Better late
there
than
it
never.
is.
All right. All right. We're going to get out of here. Good night, everybody.
Go make something.